Namastasyai, namastasyai, namastasyai namo namaha. Samasta jana kalyane niratam karunamayam namami Chinmayam devam sadgurum brahma vidvaram. Sadgurum brahma vidvaram. You know, you all look so beautiful. Really, really. And of course, it's not just because you're in your Devi Shakti colors, but also because I think this weekend has made us glow from within. You know, everyone just looks so happy and energetic and vibrant, really embodiment of Devi. So, very, very happy. Now we are on our second night seeing these compositions of the Woman Seeker book. Now, yesterday we remember, we had to think back all the way till last night. Lots of things have happened. And main points from the very first point is, anyone remember something like that? That our Guru is the one most precious to us, who points us in the right direction. It's all a question of just being pointed in the right direction, huh? So what is it? Instead of looking outwards, we have to look within. And you know, this question had come up that we have so many different teachers. You know, many of us are here, and then you all have different teachers, different ones who are passing that knowledge forward. So how do I know who is the Guru? Now, when we say Guru, we mean the Sadguru. Our Swami Shwaranji always says, he's the Sadguru, not Sad Guru. Sadguru means one established in the truth. All others become instrument of that knowledge, of course. But our Guru should be our Sadguru. That one who is both Shrotriyam Brahmanishtha. Shrotriyam means that Guru should be able to explain to us, you know. Many may be established in the truth, but to connect between the student and the teacher, that special alchemy that happens, that one can happen because of Guru's grace. So, Shrotriyam means well-versed in all the Shastras, understanding the way in which the Shastra has brought forth this knowledge and being able to communicate it to the student. That is the first aspect. But the second aspect is Brahmanishtha, one who is established in that truth. One who does not come in and out, firmly established in that. We saw, right? That when they emerge from their meditation and silence, they speak the name of Hari. We saw in Andal's poem, right? So that one is a Guru who, from their personal anubhava, experience, they go on speaking this knowledge, expressing it through many different ways, not just speech, but it can be poetic verse. Sometimes just even in silence also Guru can communicate so many things. You know, it said that the Buddha was sitting and 3 students came and they wanted to know the truth from Buddha. So Buddha was sitting quietly. And the first one came, is sitting there, and they started to get impatient, you know, they're hoping, where's the teaching? He's sitting quietly. Really, the first one said, you know what, I don't think he knows. That's why he's staying quiet. That's why the Brahmachari stay quiet. Anyway. So he got frustrated, he left. And the second one was sitting there. He waited longer than the first one. Finally, the second one said, you know, I think he knows, but he doesn't want to tell. He also left. The third student was there, sat with great patience. This came up, it's going to come up in our Q&A, I think. Patience. And with time, that student realized the silence is the teaching. And that student attained. So that Guru teaches in so many ways. He knows exactly what the student requires and will bring that forth. Or she will know exactly what the student requires and bring forth that. So, first is my Guru. Your whole Guru is so close to us. Then, remember that the soul education is to turn within. That is captured by two words. If we are outward facing, we are called as Anandamayi. Mahādevī. That means we are facing outwards. That means, what does facing outward mean? Oh, I'm always in my puja room. That means I'm very, very spiritual. I'm right there. No, what it means is that I am always looking externally for the solution to my doubts, confusions, and problems. I'm always looking to the external world to solve my issue. This is the meaning of Bahimukhi. Antarmukhi is one who looks within for the solution. They are not waiting for the world to give anything. So that turning is the major step in the sadhaka's life. And it is said that the self is infinitely, remember we saw, infinitely close. Also infinitely far. Tad dure, tad vantige, it says, Now, I don't know if you've ever played hide and seek, right? Now, say we're playing hide and seek. And close count. Then, I'm looking, seeking. Actually works, hide and seek. Anyway, so we're seeking, looking everywhere, not finding this person at all. Then finally, they pop out. From where? Right behind me. Maybe they are hiding right behind. So, imagine I'm sitting here, the person is hiding right there. Now, as long as I'm looking this way, that person will be infinitely far. Because it doesn't matter how far in this direction I go, I'll never find it. And yet at the same time, infinitely close. Because right there. So the self also similar. As long as we are Bahimukhi, it'll be far. Only when we look within. In Kathopanishad, it is very clearly given, Paranshikane Vyatrinat Swayambhuhu Param Pashyati Nantaratman. It says our senses are geared to looking out. That's just the default setting. We have to go into the manual and figure out how to turn it in a different direction. But if you leave it at default setting, never going to happen. The senses are automatically, look, even if we're sitting here, if you smell the vada over there, that's it. We have to tell the nose, okay, now you smell, figure out what it is it good or bad? No, all of that is happening automatically. This is senses. So this process now is main thing. And then we saw in Andal's verse that we have to awaken, and awakening happens through Satsang. Bless you. Anyway, only in Satsang. Isn't it very famous in Tulsi Ramayana? You all will be knowing this. Bin Satsang vivek na hoy, Rama kripa binu sulagana soy. Says without, or Swamiji used to say in a really funny way, without satsang, you will always be stupid. Correct or not? Without satsang, we'll always be at factory setting. We need satsang, and it will transform our life, okay? So, now, then Janabai taught, there is nothing such as high, nothing such as low. When I see all as my service to the Lord, my dharma, everything becomes my sadhana to Him. So that becomes more precious than any gold, any gem. No? So precious. And this is something we've been seeing throughout the day. Throughout these few days, you see how much suffering these Devis experienced. And yet they never became bitter. They never said, Bhagavan, it's your fault. I was doing everything right. Why is this happening to me? Never you'll hear that. In Harry Potter, in the first book, it's called Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Now that refers to something, actually in the old days, medieval days, they used to look for something. It's called the alchemist's stone for alchemy. They used to invest in this science called alchemy. So what is the science? It is how do you turn something base, like a stone or a rock, into gold. That's what they wanted to find out, huh? This thing that appears as though useless and burdensome and, it's everywhere, dime a dozen. How do I transform it into the most precious substance in the world? They were looking for that stone. This is what these Devis have done. They were alchemists, really, because they took that which we get dime a dozen. We don't have to look for suffering, it is there with us. Get it for free, My uncle used to have one joke. On the package it always says fat free. And he said, that's because you don't have to pay for it, they'll give it to you for free. You're getting it for free. When we're born, suffering is for free. But we never think to transform that suffering into something higher. So no experience we should, Swami Vivekananda used to say, the sadhaka should be neither accept, crave anything, nor reject anything. Be like the mirror. You perfectly reflect what is there. Meaning that I'm not afraid of what comes, I'm not afraid of what goes also. This attitude will take us far. We'll see this now, okay? Now let's look at page 249. This is Anandamayi Ma. And we have a special surprise for all of you. Maybe we'll find out. 249, it starts with many feel.
Many feel the urge to create a new and better world. Rather than let your thoughts dwell on such matters, you should concentrate on that, by the contemplation of which there is hope of perfect peace. It is man's duty to become a seeker after God or truth.
See, this question comes to us all the time, right? We're trying to fix the world, change it in some way, because we feel that this world should not be like this. Haven't we all felt? This should not be like that. That should not be this way. Especially after last Tuesday. That question comes, what do we do? But look at the depth of this answer. See, we have to look at those who are at peace and find out how they got that peace. We always ask for other people's advice, I saw it it's on YouTube, I think, if you find it. Divorce lawyer gives marriage advice. Looking to, they might have good advice about what not to do, but what to do. So we always look at those who are unhappy and think, what are you doing? But we should look for one who has solved this equation for themselves. So when we're trying to fix the world, let us think, what is this process by which this happens? Something is there. I perceive it. My mind becomes agitated. Then I try to, use all of my faculties, all of my thoughts to figure out how can I solve this problem. Now, one of the saints, he gave a very nice example. He said, there was once an arsonist who said, if you're arsonist, it means you like to set fire. So he burned down a house. Now the police wanted to find out who was the arsonist. So the police captain, he assigned one of the police officers, okay, it's your job to find out who has set this fire. Little did he know, that police officer was the arsonist. So now, you think the officer is ever going to find the arsonist, the real one? No. Why would he? Because he is the one that did it. So can you use the one who has done the thing to fix the thing that they have done? Or to identify themselves? Never happen. So in the same way, if we look at this chain of events, right? Mind perceives. Mind then labels, this is good, this is bad, this should be different. Then mind runs after something to be the solution. And what is the solution? Not a real solution for the problem, a solution for what the mind is feeling. I'll give a perfect example. Say you and your neighbor are there, and there's a tree, and the root is starting to maybe dig up one of the water lines under the building. Now, we know it's going to cost a lot of money. So you start to talk to the neighbor. The neighbor says, hey, that's your tree. That's on your property. You have to pay. You say, no, it's your tree. It's on my side of the property. You have to pay. Now, so what happened? I perceive something. I say that it's a problem. Now I'm searching for a solution. I promise you, the moment the court ruling comes back, okay, it's his responsibility. All my problem done. Because why? Not because I solved the tree, but because I know now it's somebody else's problem. So was it the tree that was the problem, or was it my mind that was agitated that I had to pay this money and do this thing? It's so simple. We don't want to fix the world actually. We want to fix those things that are making me unhappy. And if we look with the eyes of there's a word, right? We have this word darshan. Darshan is not just physical seeing. Darshanam represents vision in life. So if I look with the vision of a saint, they see the world and they see it is perfect as it is. Like for example, if we see there is that trash bin, okay? In fact, today we had a waste disposal issue. Anyway, so there's a trash bin and some smell starts to come from that food that is decaying. My nose, I don't like that smell. But from the point of view of the bacteria inside the trash can, they are in Swarga. They're so happy. For the same bacteria. So bacteria, that smell is good or bad? It is neutral actually. So, in the same way, world is as it is. What I am really looking for is this word she has said so beautifully here. In this pursuit only, you should concentrate on that, by the contemplation of which there is hope of perfect peace. What I'm looking for. So instead of fixing the world, let me fix myself, and then I will figure out how to fix the world. Yes. So how do we do it now? We'll see. Lalla has given a very beautiful example. This is not a page in the book, I'll just tell this story. That once, see, Lalla was also a wandering ascetic. And she used to get some blame from some people. From some people she will get praise. They'll see her divinity. So one day there was a fruit seller and he was getting a little agitated seeing what was happening to her. So she took one cloth. She said, please give me one cloth. She didn't have anything, right? Give me one cloth. So she wore it around her neck like a scarf. And she walked that day. And every time someone gave her a word of praise, she would put one knot in the cloth. And every time someone gave a blame, she would put knot on the other side. At the end of the day, both were equal. And it neither, she expressed this, she said, it has neither added any weight nor taken any weight from this cloth. How to say? Once I had heard very beautifully from Maya Angelou. No, Maya came up this morning also. Where did Maya go? Laughed this morning. Her name is also Maya Angelou. She said very beautifully in an interview. She said, I learned very early on, I should neither pick up nor put down. What does that mean? She said, I don't pick up anyone's praise because then I have to put down their blame. It is because I'm in the habit of picking up that I have to also force myself to drop something. She said, I don't pick up, I don't put down. So let the world go on saying. But seeker's mind should not become agitated. So this is, externally the world is as it is, and internally for myself, I neither take on blame, nor do I take on praise also. We like to take on praise, right? But because blame pains us, remember, just like the tree root, then it becomes a problem. Don't pick up either one. So then our seeker now is primed. And what makes a strong seeker, you see in Akka Mahadevi's life, we'll see on page 30. I should give some intro to this actually first. That Akka married King Kaushika. She did not want to get married, but she knows that the king saw her beauty and she knows her family might have some pressure if she does not agree to the marriage. So she said, I will marry you, but on 3 conditions. So these 3 conditions you see, they're amazing.
I will spend time meditating on the Lord as I please. I will spend time in the company of other devotees as I please. I will spend time attending to the service of the Guru as I please.
So she said, these are my laws for this union. If you break these laws, I will leave. Now, for the seeker, don't go making any demands, huh? That as I please was because Akka was already in that state, right? That is her prerogative. Our prerogative has to be the first part of each statement, okay? Don't go home and say, as I please. We'll get in trouble, huh? Actually, I'll get in trouble. I'm generously sharing it, okay? So these three should become the seeker's personal laws that I should not break in my life. Meaning, what is the first one? I will spend time meditating on the Lord. This is called as, we've been learning, right? We should integrate all the ideas we've been seeing through the workshops, through the morning lecture, through the readings, trying to see how these are all integrated together, right? So we saw this morning that the first one is our swadhyaya, sadhana. This meditation. Meditating means my action should always be with this in the background. Always thinking. So and also having dedicated time for study. So swadhyaya. I will spend time in the company of other devotees. This one is which one? Satsang. And I will spend time attending to the service of the Guru. That one is which one? Seva. These three, we also should never compromise. Why? Not because Guru needs seva or organization needs seva, because we need the seva. We always get much more than what we give. Always. Now, sometimes this question comes up, right? I have so many responsibilities in life. How do I balance this as well as those other responsibilities? It's not that we have to drop anything. This is called an organizing principle for life. Organizing principle means you just figure out how to prioritize. Now, see, in our house, if we walk in on any given day, shoes will be here, that will be thrown there. Kids' rooms are, you don't even want to open the door. You know, it is like Bermuda Triangle. You just stay outside. Right? Closets at the garage, everything, kitchen. Maybe kitchen, you know, depending on what we use the most, we'll keep it. But house will be any which way. Why? Because there's no organizing principle during the week. So many we're doing, husband is one place, I am one place, kids are one place, dog might be there, right? But now, if you are going to have a party at your house, or your in-laws are coming, we used to say, sometimes in-laws feel like outlaws. But whatever it is, when that priority comes, do you see how everybody tuck, tuck, tuck starts falling into line? Nobody will dare to cross you also. Say, you, this has to be clean, you get this done, go to the grocery store, this has to get, how everything happens. Why? Because I said this priority is here. Then every other priority, food, cleaning, sports, you're not going to send the kids out for, you know, soccer in the mud. You'll say, you're staying perfectly clean. Okay? Then have you ever, I distinctly remember this memory as a kid. You do all the ironing, and your job is just to sit there and not move. Until people come and see you with the clothes, then you go and run off with the kids, right? So, okay, your job, don't move. Everything in our mind is perfectly organized. There's an organizing principle. This is all we need to do. That I am a seeker first. We saw that this morning, right? If that is my priority, I will figure out how to get everything tuck, tuck, tuck in line. World is not our problem. Our mind is our problem. So Akka gives so beautifully, I will not compromise on these three. Spoiler alert, he does, she leaves. Amazing, amazing story. It is said her guru came and she was so ecstatic to meet him. She didn't even tie her sari properly. She got up from her bed and ran towards that guru. And her husband held that sari. Said, where are you going like this? At that moment she said, you have broken your last promise. And she stepped forth from there. And when the Guru saw her state, Guru's kataksha drishti, his compassionate glance fell on her and her hair grew to cover her body. See, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. See, this kind of dridata should be there, firmness in our sadhana. So beautiful. Right. Now, when that state of mind comes to us, that I know what is the organizing principle of my life, then what happens is something starts to emerge from within. So we're going to see that. It's on page 140 from Lalla. She says, she expresses it very nicely. It says, you will not know.
You will not know peace of mind if you a kingdom gain. Nor will you gain content or rest if you give it away. Only the man free from desire will never die. Only he has true knowledge who, though alive, is as one dead, dead to all desire.
This is a beautiful composition on Vairagya. She's saying, remember exactly the same phrase that Anandamayi used? Perfect peace. She uses the same. You will not know peace of mind. if you gain an entire kingdom, kingdom means anything you can imagine. You will not get peace of mind if you gain the kingdom. So when we say, oh, then nothing I have acquired will bring me happiness, then let me give everything up. I'm waiting to give it all up actually. Then she says, nor will you gain content or rest if you give it all away. Even this is Arjuna's question, right? I don't want to fight this battle, let me leave. And Bhagavan says, you can leave it, it's not going to bring you contentment. Still your mind will trouble you. Only the man, human being, who is free from desire will never die. Because what? He has true knowledge, who though alive is as one dead to all desire. Meaning that we live and die by our desires. The greatest pain we can feel is from some desire that has been thwarted in some way. And the biggest desire is this body should exist forever. We don't want moksha, we want this body to exist forever in good, nice conditions. It says, one should give up all this desire. Desire is the one that causes us all this pain and suffering. Now what does that mean? It doesn't, so someone had asked Puja Gurudev, should we not have any possessions? He said, no, it is perfectly fine to possess things. But it's a great tragedy if things possess us. If things possess you. So this is what this verse is talking about. Now, there's more that we can see, but we don't have enough time. And there's two others I really want you all to see. But the main idea here is that we shouldn't be afraid of vairagya arising in us. It's actually a source of great joy. Because why? We're always afraid because of our desires. We're afraid we're going to lose this. Have you ever gone into a job interview and you were so nervous, so agitated, so unhappy? Because why? Intense desire, I should get it. That same desire is the one that's stopping us from performing our best. But when I am perfectly calm, I know I have done all of my duties, and I'm secure in myself. When I walk in there, I know I can handle it. At that time, I am at peace. So, we should not think vairagya is a scary thing. We should think, I have vairagya from the things that are causing me pain. Like if you touch a hot pan, the nerves in our hands are so sensitive, immediately you'll be able to drop it automatically. But mind, we keep on clinging to the same things that cause us unhappiness over and over and over again. We don't know how to drop them. Drop. Now, this is also very advanced seeking, because she's talking about a very high level of vairagya, death of all desires. Okay? Now, for one who has dropped all external desires, even mentally dropped all desires, then something starts to happen within. We'll see on page 142, we can read 142, we'll read both poems.
Who is the florist? Who is the flower groom? With what flowers should he be worshipped? In what water should he be bathed? With what mantra should we awaken Shankara, who abides in the self? Mind is the florist. Devotion, the flower groom, who brings flower wreaths for him. He should be worshipped with the flowers of faith and bathed in the nectar of the mystic moon. Silence is the mantra that awakens him. And in the deep stillness of the mind, he wakes up. in the inmost self. 1,000 times at least I asked my Guru to give nothingness a name. Then I gave up. What name can you give to the source from which all names have sprung?
This is Lalla's composition. So in this, and again, this is for a Parama Bhakta, Parama Vairagi, Parama Jnani, one who is at the pinnacle. For that one, when we see the world as real, we have to worship through the world. But slowly when I realized that the world is nothing but the projection of mind, in Chandogya Upanishad, they clearly tell, Vacha Rambanam Vikaro Namadheyam, that this world is strung on names, on speech. Meaning that thoughts are in the medium of speech, language. Thoughts make up the entire world. So, that one comes to realize who is the florist, who is the flower girl. This means people. Who are all the people around? With what flowers should he be worshipped? Flowers are then the objects. Then, in what water should he be bathed? That bathing is action. So all things and beings, all objects of the world, all actions also, when I drop them externally, when I realize they have no external independent existence, right? Just like if you have a pot and I remove every ounce of clay from the pot, can a pot remain there?
No.
It has no independent existence. So also when I realized I used to worship externally, but then I realized everything is happening within. So then I began to internally search for the one who I'm worshipping externally. Then what do I realize? With what mantra do we awaken Shankara? Meaning that Bhagavan is there. How do I realize I am that? Mind is the florist. So florist's job is to collect all the flowers, right? If you go to the forest, they don't just have one bunch, they have all the bunches. So too, says mind is the florist. Flowers here represent all the thoughts. Mind's job is to bring in all the thoughts. Low, medium, high. The flower girl is the one who picks the flowers and makes the garland. So, from all the thoughts that the mind brings, let me pluck those that are noble, beautiful, full of love, and make that into the garland that I give to the Lord. So the flower girl has to pick. Because mind, even for, something very interesting is that our mind will always bring us all types of thoughts. That's the job of the mind. It will bring sometimes low thoughts and very noble thoughts also. So really, when we are at a higher state, we just become quiet. You don't say mind has to also change. Let the mind be. That's a paradox. The more you don't put any pressure on the mind itself becomes quiet. Right? So then, that mind, with all the thoughts, we choose those which are noble, full of devotion, love, who brings the flower wreaths. So devotion, bhakti, brings the mala, meaning I offer that devotion, and through that devotion, then he is worshipped. The flowers of Shraddha, faith. Bathed in the nectar of the mystic moon. See, Bhagavan has the moon in his jata. Moon here is like nature. When mind becomes quiet and accepts nature perfectly as it is, that is worship of Lord. Because to criticize the world is to criticize Bhagavan actually. That is hard, huh? I'm not saying that has to happen today. You should think on that. So let the cool moonlight refresh us. Bathe that Lord within. Meaning that my nature also, I just accept, and that nature itself becomes part of the worship. Then what happens, if my mind is perfectly silent, then that awakens him. Meaning awakens knowledge that he is there. You know, Bhagavan is always there. This ties into that same verse that we read, right? 1,000 times I asked my Guru to give nothingness a name. So here what it means is, you all saw when you were reading Swamini Sharda Priyananda Amma's life, right? Did you got to that section? Yeah. Shut up. Yes. So what happens is, our intellect, remember intellect's job is to label things, right? What is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? So we go on asking Guru, what is this? What is this? What is this? And Guru goes on saying, it's Om, it's Om, it's still Om. You asked a few days later, still Om. So we go on, meaning this is exactly where they're pointing us, right? So finally, when the intellect has exhausted, why do we have, this question really came up once in a Q&A, that one uncle was like, you know what, in many religions they have exactly one book, and they can study the one book, talk about one book. We have so many. We can't explain it to anyone. He said, that's what's confusing all Hindus. We should just have one. Listen, all of that is written because mind keeps on talking. So they have to keep on writing things to make that mind shut up. So finally, we go on trying to objectify this self. And I think if you read that second line, to give nothingness a name, really it means to give no thingness. Atma is never a thing. You saw, right? Not external. So I keep on trying to label it, externalize it. And Guru keeps telling me, no, you cannot do that. Finally, mind becomes, then I gave up. This doesn't mean a bad thing. Gave up means this is liberation. At that moment that the mind becomes perfectly silent, and what name can you give to the source from which all names have sprung? Beautiful. So you see here, then I gave up. So what is the other word for that? Surrender. Another word for that is, perfect surrender is perfect silence. And what was it said in the previous verse? Silence is the mantra that awakens. And see how they inform each other. I was telling you, I keep looking at it. Every time you look, something new comes. Every time I think, okay, that's good. Then something else. So beautiful. So in this way, mind should be silent. When mind is silent, that is the state of perfect peace. So everything, all the Devis saying, same message. And that's the journey. First, when that intense vairagya is set, right? For one who is a great vairagi, this world has no sar. It is asar. Right? Because I don't want this world at all. Give me only you, O Lord. Then for the jnani, one who has realized, they see, oh, I was giving up these things looking for the Lord. Then I realized Lord is everything. So then the whole universe becomes sar. It becomes full of rasa. They enjoy all. Nandati, nandati, nandatyeva, said in Bhaja Govinda. But for one who does not take up the path, everything is samsara. So for Vairagi, world is asara. For Jnani, world is sara. And for samsari, world is samsara. It's up to us. We can decide which one we want to be. Then, now, we always have this question. What is that state like? What is it? We have that curiosity, right? When you read these poems, this is the closest we will get to feeling that. Because they express their experience. There was the very famous parable of the salt doll is there. The salt doll wanted to know the ocean. Salt doll was so small, wanted to know the ocean. So finally the Guru had to say, the only way to know the ocean is to go into the ocean. That's the only way to know the ocean. So we'll see now this poem on page 143.
The soles of my feet wore off on the roads while I wandered in search of him. Then lo, on a sudden, I saw that he was all and everywhere. I had nowhere to go in search of him. This was the truth of 100 truths. Whoever learns of it, will they not wonder? Will they not be mad for joy?
I don't have to say anything else. So, that state. And the last thing I wanted to say, reflect on in Woman Seeker, is why do the Devi's words have so much power? That even now when we read, we feel that electric thrill running through us. Because our Gurudev has said this. Our personality, we have different aspects in our personality, you know. We have our head, intellect. We have our heart, emotion, seat of emotions. We have our body with which we perform actions. Now what happens is, for us, all three of these are usually pulled in different directions. You know? If you see third laddu or third gulab jamun, there's a great battle going on. It's a battleground state. And usually we win by razor thin margin. Or we don't get it all. You know? 50.1% we say no. Or usually 70% we say yes. We are always feeling that pull. So our words tend to lose their power and vitality. See, we tell our kids, don't be on the device. That's not good for you. But our words lack power. Why? Because we're on the device. Because we have that addiction, how can we tell? But the Devis, they were perfectly aligned. All of these come together, and the word for that is called as bhavana in our Sanskrit. Bhavana means the state. It does not mean an emotion. It does not mean a conviction. It means that there is a place in which all of these merge and become one. That state is so powerful because there's no division in it. You know? Like if you have a pillar and it's holding up something, if there's a crack, that will shatter. It needs to be firm, it needs to be uniform. So when our thoughts, speech, actions are all together, aimed at the highest, then our words have power. That is why our parents, those who live that dharma, that is why now, even now, if I think things that my grandparents have said, parents have said, their words have a power. Our Swamijis, Swamins, when they speak, there's a certain power because they are living in alignment. So also, that is why these Devis have such power. And it's also in us as well. Just need to discover, okay? All right, wonderful. So we are going to have few more very fun sessions. Okay, now we have 3 minutes. We have time for one bhajan, and then we'll have our